Good morning, everyone. My name is Bob Schaefer. I'm the Administrative District Judge of the Harris County District Courts, and I want to welcome you here to this press conference. I want to say that the business of the Harris County District Courts is for the most part open, but we've had this little storm come about that has caused us to relocate many places. I want to introduce the folks that are standing behind me because they have worked tirelessly over the last week, held conferences in unusual places, and telephone conferences, and worked to try to get this accomplished. To my immediate left is Judge Susan Brown, the Administrative District Judge for the Criminal Courts. To my right is Judge Paula Goodhart, the Administrative Judge for the County Courts at Law. Behind me, Judge Robin Brown, the Administrative Judge for the County Courts at Law. Judge Roberta Lloyd, the Administrative Judge for the Civil County Courts at Law. Judge Sylvia Matthews, the Administrative Judge for the Civil Courts. Judge David Farr, Administrative Judge for the Family Courts. Judge Michael Schneider, a judge with the Juvenile Courts. And Clay Bowman and Ed Wells, our administrative folks. Again, we have worked hard to come up with a solution for the 39 or so criminal courts that have to be relocated. And for more details about that, I'm going to turn this over to Judge Susan Brown.
Good morning. I'm Susan Brown, and I'm the Administrative Judge for the Criminal District Courts. Beginning Monday, September the 11th, the Criminal District Courts will be doubling up in courtrooms in the Civil Courthouse and also the Juvenile Justice Center. We intend to continue running the jail docket that we've been running since the storm at 49 San Jacinto. And at some point, probably on Monday, we will move also to running jail dockets actually inside the Harris County Jail to prevent the Sheriff's Department from having to move inmates above ground across the street and facilitate those jail dockets to continue running. We will also start grand juries again beginning tomorrow in the 1910 courthouse. We are so grateful for the civil judges, the family court judges, the juvenile judges, and the appellate court judges across the street who have kindly opened their doors and their homes basically to us during this unfortunate situation that we are all experiencing everyone throughout the county. As far as jury trials go, we will begin bail jury trials. Those are folks who are on bond, who are set for a jury trial sometime around the beginning to middle of October. We will resume jury trials for jail cases. These are all felonies. As soon as we have a jury room available, a jury assembly room, and as soon as practicable for the district clerk to issue jury summons. We really don't have a date for that at this point, but we will begin jury trials for those folks in jail just as soon as we possibly can. Here to speak on behalf of the county courts is Judge Paula Goodhart.
Good morning. I am Paula Goodhart. I'm the presiding judge of the Harris County Criminal Courts at Law, numbers 1 through 16. We are the misdemeanor courts that handle all Class A and Class B misdemeanors. We are going to be moving out of the Criminal Justice Center over to the Family Law Center, which is located at 1115 Congress. We will be occupying 2 courts per courtroom. We will also be having staggered dockets in the morning and in the afternoon to accommodate the volume of people that we expect to come into the Family Law Center. We want to thank the 4D family courts that are over there currently and occupying space because they've agreed to collapse their operations from 4 courtrooms to 2 courtrooms to make space for us. So our 16 courts will be over there. We will also have dedicated courtrooms for trials. Those will be for the use of the misdemeanor courts as well as the felony courts. We will be prioritizing folks that are in jail who are set for trial to use those courtrooms as soon as jury assembly is up and running again. We have employees that are with our court operations that are back at work. They are already working on moving our operations and balancing out our dockets for the coming weeks. Like the felony courts, we have continued to run jail dockets since the hurricane and through the hurricane, except for a small period of time when probable cause court was suspended for evacuation. Last Tuesday, we began having jail dockets for the misdemeanor courts, and we've done them pretty much daily since then because those jail cases are our priority. And we will be expanding our jail dockets next week as well, 2 locations in the jail, which will make it more convenient and feasible for the Sheriff's Department to provide the inmates for their cases. Our trials are also suspended along with the felony court trials until mid-October. Obviously, if jury assembly is up and running again, we will try to get to our jail jury trials as soon as practicable. For folks that have pending cases right now and you are on bond, or you have a family member that is in jail or has a pending case, or you're just an interested party and you do not know when that court date is set, we encourage you to reach out to the resources that are out there to find out what your court setting is. There are several resources. The primary one is the Harris County District Clerk's website. I know Chris Daniel is here and has joined us. He's our district clerk, and his website has that information. They also have a phone number, 832-927-5800. I know his folks would be happy to help you figure out when your court date is, what court your case is in, and where your court has moved to. So I encourage everyone to use that resource. If you are on bond and you have questions about your bond conditions, so the rules that you have while you are on bond, we encourage you to reach out to your bonding company, to Harris County Pretrial Services, or the court where your case is pending. The information on how to reach the court will be on our court websites as well as multiple Facebook pages. The message that the court and the criminal judiciary wants to send to folks out there who have pending cases is do not be afraid to come to court. If you feel like you have missed a court date over this time period where we have all experienced this disaster of a hurricane, your bond is not going to be forfeited. And in the days that come, in the weeks to come, if you have confusion about your court date, come down to court. There will be people here that can get you on the right track. We just encourage you to communicate with your attorneys, with your bonding companies, reach out to the district clerk's office, but do not be afraid to come to court. We want to get this system back on track, and we're hoping to do that with our bond cases starting on Monday. Any questions?
Thank you all for coming out. Have a great day.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes, I'm sorry.
More speakers. For Clerk Daniel, give us a feel for the extent of the damage to the jury assembly room and what does the future hold?
Jury assembly room is basically a total loss. I'll leave it to the engineers to give you a quote on what the repairs or replacement will take. And at this time, we're working closely with the engineering department and facilities property management to utilize rooms in this building so as to have a temporary housing place for the few jurors that we're going to summon down here to make sure that the criminal justice system can move forward.
The way the system is, it's kind of like the hands connected to the elbow, connected to the arm, and so on and so forth. It starts in many parts of the jury trials with that. And so I'm hearing as soon as possible, as soon as practical for those jail defendants who are awaiting jury trial. I mean, what is the forecast hold?
We predict the middle of October, and the reason why that is that we have to have time for the jury summons to actually go out with the new information on it to the folks that are being summoned with the audience so that they can, A, get timely notice of the summons, and B, know where the new place is to go to. If we just relied on who could show up right now, we'd have mass chaos.
And so you're thinking ultimately make some space in this building, you said?
Correct. And we're working again closely with Commissioner's Court, ultimately the engineering department, and we have identified not only the cafeteria space in the basement here, but also part of the tax office on the first floor. And in conjunction with those two spaces, we should have enough to handle not only the criminal cases, but also a few of the other types of courts as we start to release those types of courts for a jury docket. And that's based on the presiding judges of those types of courts.
And then I had a question for Judge Brown. Have you and your colleagues been in contact with the defense bar you know, at some point, there's due process, there's speedy trial rights and so forth. How do you juggle that balancing act? Is there a big concern from defense attorneys saying, hey, my client doesn't deserve to be in jail till mid-October, he has a right, or she has a right to trial?
We have been in contact with the defense bar on just about a daily basis to update them as to what is going on. I think realistically that everyone understands at this point that we are working to get back on track and get those cases tried as quickly as we can. You know, many of those same lawyers are dealing with things that people in our community are dealing with, flooded houses, flooded offices, and I think that the reality is everybody knows we're working. We understand that we have speedy trial issues. For us, most of our cases in district court are fairly current in trials, and so I think that starting back up in mid-October is reasonable, not only for the community who's going to come down here and serve as jurors, but also for the folks waiting in jail and for their lawyers to be able to get ready for trial.
Was there ever any discussion about moving operations elsewhere to adjoining county rather than wait till mid-October to patch things up here?
Well, the difficulty with that is that the jurors must be from the county where the case is being tried, and so that's just something that we would not be able to do, would be moved to Fort Bend and then call Harris County jurors. So we recognize that we're limited by what our statute is in calling jurors and in trying cases in front of jurors who are from the county where the offense allegedly occurred.
And I'm not sure who addressed it. Maybe Judge Goodhart, you said you would be extending hours into the evening. Did I hear that correct? On the misdemeanor side? Does that go for the felony side too, Judge Brown? Or can you just clarify that?
Sure. And Judge Goodhart, they intend to hold afternoon dockets as opposed to everyone having a docket in the morning because they're sharing courtrooms. We are having a meeting at 10 o'clock with my judges, with the district court judges, to make some decisions about that. We just found out yesterday afternoon where space was available for us to move to. We've been working with all the different divisions to get that to come together. So we'll be meeting this morning. Once the judges have a chance to figure out exactly where they're going to be, since we're going to be court sharing, then the judges will come up with a plan for their dockets. Certainly having an afternoon docket is not something that's out of the realm of possibilities.
In the long game here, do you foresee months of catch-up? I mean, obviously crime doesn't stop. Cases don't stop. You know, while you're doubling up and sharing and doing the best you can, just by that very nature, does that docket just grow and grow, and do you get, you know, more behind as the days go on?
We are so hopeful that that is not going to happen. We've been in recess, shall we say, for about 2 weeks, but during that time we have been processing the jail cases as they've come in and dealing with those sort of on the front end. We're hopeful that once we get to our spots and can start having dockets again, that we'll be able to work through that backload in a pretty efficient manner. Of course, considering the fact that our employees are moving out of the building, having to set up in new spots, that defendants may not be coming to court as they normally are because their homes are, you know, devastated or what, they don't have transportation. So those things are going to cause things to slow down a little bit. The DA's office is now going to be out on the West Loop, part of it, and so we're going to have some transportation issues. But I think we're all really committed to getting back on track just as quickly as we can. I can let Judge Goodhart speak for the misdemeanors.
I will echo what Judge Brown said. We are committed to assessing the situation once our bond cases are up and running again on Monday, and we will make adjustments as we need to make sure that there is not a significant backlog. And we have been handling the jail cases as they've come in as well.
And again, if you would, Your Honor, touch on the message to those defendants and their counsel. Do I hear that there's going to be some level of leniency, particularly for court dates that have been in the last week or so?
So if folks had a court date during the time of this storm, so for the last 2 weeks while the courts have been closed, their bonds are obviously not going to be forfeited. And in the days to come, there will be a level of understanding in the judiciary about the circumstances that people face. We just ask that people be diligent about determining when their court date is, and if they cannot make it because of their own personal circumstances, that they communicate with those people that can get that information to the courts so that we know what's going on, that we can accommodate their needs.
Can anybody speak to 1201 Franklin? Is everything going to move out of it? When do you think it's going to come back?
As far as, you mean like people,
That
furniture?
Yeah.
Right.
We're all in the process of moving out currently.
It's all going to be.
Can you go to the mic?
I'm sorry. Well,
We've been told that all personnel that occupy 1201 Franklin, it needs to move out of the building.
Any idea what it's talking about?
We've been told 6 to 9 months, but any further details about the condition of the building is really somebody else's bailiwick, engineering, not us.
Have any of you personally seen, or can you just talk about, you spend so much time in these buildings, you've been able to get in and see that damage, and how is that? And just think you back, like, you know?
So the court that I preside over, Criminal Court Number 1, is on the 8th floor, and I did have an opportunity to go up there, and we suffered minimal damage to the eye, but I'm sure that there are some structural issues or issues that have taken place that I wouldn't necessarily recognize, and so I can only speak to that court because that's the only place that I visited, but maybe some others have some personal experience.
And longer term, is somebody writing a plan for FEMA to put all this together, or?
That would be the county.
That's an issue. We're judges. We're judges. We take care of the judicial system as far as the buildings and so forth. They're county buildings.
Judge Brown, the defense bar made some suggestions last night. I believe it came out, things that they'd like to see during this time. One of them was, reduction in bond and sort of prioritizing of cases of the more severe ones versus the ones that aren't as severe. They also mentioned, to not be penalized if a defendant can't make it to court because of extenuating circumstances. Do you know any about these suggestions, and have you taken them into consideration?
Yes, we received that email yesterday while we were working to put things together. Certainly, those are all things that are being considered. Once we kind of get everybody back together, I'm sure all of those things are going to be discussed. What can we do to make things better? Sometimes when things like this happen, it gives us all an opportunity to step back and make some changes that maybe we wouldn't have made in just the daily doing the same thing. So as difficult as this all is, it certainly has given us an opportunity to look at doing things a different way.
So some of the suggestions could be taken.
Oh, absolutely.
I guess I'm just going sort of the rank, how many cases you all deal with on a daily basis, how as far as just to get a sense as to how big of it all this is, as far as how many cases you have to deal with on a daily basis, and how much you're having to work with sort of restructure and all that, just to give a sense of people imagining, this is the third, fourth most populous county in the country, just trying to get a sense as to how many cases you all deal with on a daily basis and how much impact it's having on the judiciary here. Cases, defendants, anything like that, just to get a sense.
Well, I would defer for the misdemeanor courts to our court manager, Ed Wells. He's probably the person to speak to that
Sure.
At the misdemeanor level.
So for the county criminal courts at law, we average about 1,300 to 1,500 cases daily in the 16 courts. That's 5 days a week throughout the year. For us, about 7%, 6% are jail cases, and the rest are defendants on bond. So.
How many pending jail trials, either misdemeanor or felony? Do you have a ballpark? Got 100, got thousands? I have no idea.
No. At the misdemeanor level, just a few, not many.
Dozens?
No, I wouldn't say dozens. I can get that number to you specifically, but it's not dozens.
Judge Brown?
Let me just ballpark it real quick. I know, really. Sorry, I'm bad at math. I would say that we probably have about 900 cases set for jury trial.
That's across 16?
That's across 22 courts.
Your question was about jail jury trials for the county courts, right?
For the district level?
That's not jail. I'm sorry, I didn't hear that. That's total bail and jail cases set for trial.
Do you have a breakdown of jail?
I do not. I have a very, we certainly can provide that to you. If you'd like it, we're certainly glad to provide that.
And I thought you asked about jail, so my answer to you was with regard to the
Gotcha.
A concern that Judge Emmett brought up to his press conference yesterday is the public are asking about rescheduling jury service. Obviously, your jury service is canceled during this time period where it's unavailable. When we start summoning you again and you are still displaced or repairing or otherwise not unable to serve, you just go to the website or call us. The website's www.hcdistrictclerk.com, or call us, and you can reschedule up to 3 times, up to 6 months out. We want you to serve, but if you obviously can't serve, that is not your priority at the moment. Get back in your home, get back to your life.
All right. Thank you all for coming. Have a great day.